Now that you've earned financial freedom, what are you doing to preserve it? How will you leverage it to create a lasting impact? What will your legacy be? Welcome back, friends. In today's episode, Andie has a conversation with Doug Johnson, the Denver chair for Tiger 21, an exclusive global community of ultra-high net worth entrepreneurs, investors, and executives. Members in this trusted confidential peer advisory network learn from each other how to navigate the issues and opportunities that stem from success. Stay tuned.
Welcome, everyone, to this edition of Life and Style at 8150. Today, I am so excited to have Doug Johnson here. He is the Tiger 21 Denver chair for 3 of the 6 groups in Colorado. Welcome, Doug. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, Andie, thank you. I've been looking forward to this and looking forward to spending some time with you.
Yeah, well, thank you. For those who are not familiar with Tiger 21, and even those that are this today, I just would love to have you give an overview and the purpose of Tiger 21.
Terrific. Thank you. You know, Tiger 21 really grew out of our founders' experience in other peer learning groups like Vistage and YPO. And for those of you who may not be familiar with peer learning groups, when you're starting a business as an entrepreneur, having a team of others who are going through that same entrepreneurial journey with you, there's a great organization called EO. As you're growing your business and operating your business, there's a great organization of peers who are in that same boat called Vistage. And also then YPO is another peer learning organization for your business and beyond for your life. And then you come to a point, as our founder did, where you may be the most successful one in the room or in your family, and you need a different level of conversation. And so he started Tiger 21, which again is a peer learning group for very successful founders, entrepreneurs, and executives to meet and share knowledge in a confidential setting.
Yeah, I love that. I appreciate the background on that. But given that, how did you get involved in Tiger 21?
Oh, thank you. That's a quick story. I was working with a good friend of mine, Mike Freeman, who is our CEO of our statewide technology incubator, the Innosphere. And I was working with him to build out our investor networks throughout Colorado who would be interested in early stage venture, primarily around clean tech, bioscience, and software. And I was meeting with a good family office friend of mine, and he said, there's this group out of New York called Tiger 21 that might be interested in opportunities in Colorado. I went to their website and looked them up, and I thought it was a New York angel investment group and thought it odd that a New York angel investment group would want to look at opportunities in Colorado, but what the heck? So I reached out to them at info@tiger21.com and said, hey, word on the street is you're interested in Colorado. Here's my LinkedIn profile. If I can be helpful, let me know. And 2 minutes later, I got a phone call and said, yes, we want to be in Colorado. We've got a member who lives in Vail who's flying to the East Coast every month for meetings. And we've got a member who lives in Denver who's flying to Dallas every month for meetings. And I thought, wow, this must be something if they're willing to fly every month to these meetings. And then I figured out it was a peer learning group. I flew to New York. I met the founder, Michael Sonnenfeld. I interviewed a couple of members who at the time had been members about 10 years and 12 years. And I said, what is it? What is it about Tiger 21? And they said, Doug, it's the connections. It's where else can we have this type of conversation about meaning and purpose of the success we've created in our life? I thought, well, that's amazing. And then they said, the portfolio defense. I said, the portfolio defense? What is a portfolio defense? Doug, for the first time in our lives, someone has asked us who we are, how we grew up, how we think about the world, what we're trying to accomplish, our family, and then how we're doing it. And we show our balance sheet, our income statement, our asset allocation, and our estate flow diagram, and say to our peers, what do you think? How am I doing? And we get feedback from people who care about us, who aren't trying to sell us anything. And I said, you do that? Who does that? Who talks about money? And they said, it's transformative. It's amazing. And when I heard that, I fell in love with the organization and said, I will start a group in Colorado. That was 2015. We held our first meeting in February of 2016, and today we have a robust community of over 90 members across 6 groups, and I'm blessed with 2 great colleagues, James Iacino and Elizabeth Ledoux, who helped me chair this great community.
I love that. That is terrific. With the confidentiality, peer-to-peer, it's so invaluable. I just, what a great concept. And I can understand how passionate you are about it. So terrific. And that was going to be one of my questions, is how many people are throughout Colorado. But then also, it's not just in Colorado, as you mentioned, it's nationwide, but not just that, it's worldwide, correct?
Oh, truly. When I first was introduced to Colorado, or to Tiger 21 in 2015, I believe we had a little over 300 members. Today, we're a robust community of 1,600 members and growing, and that is global. Again, here in Colorado, we've got a community of 90 members, but then that growth has been through US, primarily in major markets, Canada, the UK, Dubai, Switzerland, Lisbon, Singapore, India. It is just a phenomenal community that continues to grow primarily through referral. The members love their experience. They love their connections. And when they get in, they want to bring people they know and trust into their community as well to experience what they're experiencing.
Yeah, that's terrific. So with it growing, what ultimately is the goal for expansion of Tiger 21?
You know, that's a great question, is how big does Tiger ultimately get and still maintain that intimacy, that confidentiality, and that connection? Because the true magic in Tiger 21 is the group experience, your monthly group experience, where you really are in that connected space. And yet it's amazing to me when we host our global exchange where all the members get together, there's that immediate connection and confidentiality. Oh, Andie, you're in Tiger? Great. I can share with you. I can go deep immediately because we share that common bond in Tiger. So the long answer is there is no magic number. There is no magic growth target. It's really been organic by retention and referral. Are the members getting value, and are they staying in Tiger, and are they getting value and referring others to Tiger? And as long as we can deliver that value, I look for us to continue to grow. And we look for that growth primarily internationally.
Yeah, I love the aspect that it's a smaller, intimate type setting with the groups. How many members attend in each group in your meetings?
Yeah, the group experience, it's monthly. We meet for 6 hours, which is a big time commitment. You know, we all are busy people. We all have a lot of things going, but we commit to that day in Tiger 21 because we know it's a special experience. And so meetings are typically 6 to 7 hours. And it's with your peers of 12 to 15 members that you've developed relationships with. And we start with a check-in. How's your sleep? How's your relationships? How's your health? How are you thinking about things currently? Are there any issues or opportunities you would like us as your personal board of directors to weigh in on? Have you made any major investment moves, either purchases or sales within the last 30 days? And one of the most popular things is the tip jar. What are you reading? What are you watching? What are you listening to that improves your health, makes you money, saves you money? Something that we would benefit from, knowing how you're spending your time and what type of information you're taking in. The portfolio defense, and then really spending time to learn from each other through issues and opportunities. Hearing how all of these things that are going on in the world, economic policy, interest rates, cost of goods, whatever it might be, real estate, private equity, private credit, whatever's going on in the world, how is that showing up for you? And how is it impacting you, your family, your investment decisions, and how you're thinking about things? Are you taking on risk, or are you risk off? And that really helps us get a sense of what's going on out there, how people are looking at things, where there might be opportunity, where there might be some early indicators that we can then take in and apply to our own personal situation.
Yeah, fantastic. That's a very valuable roundtable, small conversations that you all have and share. I know education's a big aspect as well, that you not only on these during these smaller gatherings, but also when you have the conferences. Will you share a little bit about that as well?
Absolutely. As an education company, that's at the core. It's always connection first and then content. And for the content, members are hungry for content around health, wellness, economics, uh, asset classes. What's going on with cryptocurrency? What's going on with real estate? What's going on with interest rates? What's going on with geopolitical affairs? And help me make sense of this world. And so we have great speakers at one of our last global exchanges. We were fortunate enough to have two presidents, former presidents, on stage talking about what's going on with current geopolitical, top thinkers in wellness, top thinkers in meaning and purpose. I've personally meditated with Deepak Chopra. It's just incredible the breadth of learning that goes on. But more importantly, we learn from each other. We have experts around the table. Andie, you're an expert. We've got other experts. And this chance to share and learn, how are you seeing the world, particularly real estate? What's going on in the Vail Valley, and what's going on with interest rates? What are buyers thinking? What are sellers thinking? What's the cost per square foot? What's it cost to build? What are the builders thinking? That is all just rich intelligence that and the collective experience.
Yeah, fantastic. I'm just thinking ahead too of how even in my own world of real estate, it goes beyond that. And having those round table and Zoom calls of sharing across the country, we do that in our Sotheby's International Realty. I've got my little blue book of 42 colleagues that we share as well, and sharing that information because it goes beyond just on the localized aspect. It's nationwide, worldwide, and having the Tiger 21 membership. I know that members can also travel to other areas of some of the areas that you mentioned and be able to participate in their local meetings as well, correct?
Correct. We actually encourage that, again, the true value proposition with Tiger 21 is connection. When you have this level of success, it can often feel isolating. Many of us have been raised to not talk about money or success. This community is very humble, and to have that connection point to be able to connect and feel comfortable no matter where you're at in the world. We've had members here in Denver travel to meetings in Dubai, meetings in London, and be welcomed with open arms and really appreciate the cultural richness of our global community, of the way people experience success and wealth in different countries. And what does it mean to live a good life? And what is the meaning and purpose for the sake of what, for the wealth? And what we find is there's this common language that it's really about, we just want happy, healthy families. Yeah. And that's what we hope. We want good health for ourselves. We want good health for our families and happiness and joy. And that's what we hope that this success that's been created fosters in our families. And that's universal.
That's beautiful. So just to understand it a little bit more, going back to Vistage and YPO, what a lot of people are familiar with YPO, Vistage as well, but what's the big differentiator between Tiger 21 and those groups?
Great question. So with Vistage, it's professionally facilitated. You have a Vistage chair who convenes the meetings, and it's really designed for those operators of businesses, the chief executive officer or a key executive who comes around the table and shares in a confidential setting what's going on with the business. How do I work on my business, not in my business? And people who have participated in Vistage, and I don't mean this, well, I'm happy, I celebrate all peer learning groups, and so happy to do a commercial for Vistage because What my experience is working with operators who are in a peer learning group like Vistage are head and shoulders above other operators because they are getting that input and that shared experience. YPO is member led. So there's YPO Forum, which is at the core. That is your core group of 8 to 12. And these are your, for to use a Colorado term, Western term, ride or die community, that we are here for you. We have your back no matter what you're going through in life, personal and professional ups and downs. We're there for you. Tiger 21 is kind of the best of all the worlds. We're not in competition. We're not in a hierarchy. We're on a continuum that as you've had success and continue to have success, you may be at a level of success that is different than your peers. And you may be out of an operating business. You may have had an exit. And so Tiger 21 is professionally facilitated. I'm a chair. I'm a professional facilitator who convenes this group and sets the table for confidentiality and bringing the voices of our members in to provide perspective, but also learn from each other.
Helpful. Thank you. So then that leads into the question, what is the typical profile of someone that is in Tiger 21, a member?
That's a great question. And, it's primarily the wealth creator. The majority of our members, it's first-time wealth creation. And our average age it's starting to trend lower. We've got a very robust under 49 community network. But the average age is probably late 40s, early 50s. Our minimum to get into Tiger is a $20 million net worth. Our average net worth is probably around 100 million. And the nice thing about our Tiger community, it doesn't matter. We're not here to count the zeros. It's what are you bringing to the community and what do you hope to get from the community? And are you in growth mode and abundance mode and willing to learn and really help answer the question, what's next? At this young age with longevity and health span, I've had success at this stage of my life. I still have another lifetime to live. Where do I go from here? And how do I not screw up what I've already created? And how do I prepare myself and my family for the wealth that's been created? And for the sake of what? What's it all for? And how do I find meaning and purpose in those next stages of my life?
Yeah, setting everyone up for success. And whether it's investors, single family offices, entrepreneurs, it's a wide, vast blend of that, of the members, correct?
Very much so. You look at members who have who've had success in the corporate world, in cryptocurrency, as entrepreneurs, real estate, private credit, financial success, hedge funds, financial firms, manufacturing. It's such a diverse array of expertise around the table. The way people have made success, generational success. We do have some generational members who maybe took the family enterprise to a different level and then had an exit or are still operating that and thinking about what's next. We do some great pre-liquidity events for our members who haven't had their liquidity event but are thinking about it, and they can hear from members directly. This is the great information exchange of, boy, the top 10 things I wish I would have done before I sold my business. And that's worth it right there. I mean, just the tax savings alone pays for the membership for the rest of your life.
Right. Well, so touch it though. Also, I love this aspect of the 5 C's
Yes.
for becoming a member of Tiger 21, because that's important. That fits into everything that people are sharing.
Oh, very much so. When you come into a confidential room and you're ready to share your most personal financial information, and I have to say before I get into that, one of the best conversations I had was with a very high profile, very well-known, successful person here in our state. And I shared about the portfolio defense, that one of the requirements is you will stand up in front of your peers and share your balance sheet, your income statement, your asset allocation, and your estate flow diagram. And he looked me dead in the eye and he was panicked. You could tell, just, people do that? Doug, the only two people who know my net worth are my attorney and my accountant, and they're two different numbers. And we said, well, it's time for that to change. And we have a lot of members too who are afraid they haven't told their spouse or their children about the money or their true net worth. And out of a sense of protecting them, I don't want them to deal with it. I don't want them to worry. Well, the fact is, it will land in their lap unexpectedly, and they will be unprepared to deal with it. And so how do they prepare for it? Now back to the criteria for membership. We say the 5 C's, and the first and foremost is confidential. You've got to keep things confidential or this doesn't work. I can tell anecdotes without revealing specifics and violating our confidentiality, because these are anecdotes that are generalized to our entire Tiger 21 community. The second key for me and for our community is character. Who are you? We run background checks. And so when you are at that table, you know that anyone new coming in has gone through the same process you have. And for anybody who is wanting to come into Tiger, they know that they're walking into a community of vetted individuals who share that same commitment, which is the third C, commitment. I'm committed to be here. I'm committed to personal growth. I'm committed to show up. I have the capacity and time. I've got the capacity and net worth, which is our fourth C, and I'm willing to be here. So you think about, we're all busy people. Am I willing to spend a day in Tiger and commit to my fellow peers to share knowledge and receive knowledge? So confidentiality, character, commitment, capacity, these all just factor into, and then of course, confidentiality, these all factor into making it a wonderful Tiger experience.
Yeah, that's, I would imagine, a very important part of having almost like an oath of all those C's.
Almost.
Yeah. So how would one go about applying for the membership? I mean, I know I can, at the end, I'll connect everyone and I'll have a personal introduction if anyone would like to, through you and Tiger 21.
Yeah. Andie, I would ask anyone who's listening to the podcast who is interested in learning more about Tiger 21, of course, to reach out to you. And you've got the information, you have the background. And to really think about, is that me? Am I willing and committed to my personal growth? Am I willing to come into a community and share confidentially what's going on for me? Am I willing to be vulnerable? And what do I have to give? What information do I have to give? What perspective could I share that could potentially be helpful? Because that's what I find about this community is we've had success. We want to pay it forward. How can we help others? It's really a servant leadership kind of community, which is really why I'm here. I'm here to help people on their journey of life.
Well, that's a very important aspect. It's how I also conduct my business on a value-based, how I can give and
Absolutely.
provide value. And that's what Tiger 21 is. And I know you also have the philanthropic aspect of Tiger 21. Just briefly touch upon that a little bit.
Oh, very much so. We have real active networks. Again, I go back, your core group and your core connection is within that group of experience of your 12 to 15 members that you meet with monthly. And beyond that, there are these wonderful networks. Could be an aviation network, could be a travel network, could be a family network, health and wellness. As I shared, our under 49 network is very active, very connected. And we have our philanthropic network, because for a lot of us, it is that servant leadership, that servant heart. I want to pay it forward. How do I do that? What does that look like? Is it a family foundation? Is it a donor advised fund? Is it writing checks and sponsorship? Is it, how do I get creative program related investing? What is the governance of that? How do I use this idea of philanthropy to pay it forward and support things I care about and get my family involved? What do they care about? What do they want to support? and this generosity, this culture of giving that we want to, that is part of our family DNA. So yes, philanthropy is definitely a driver, and sharing best practices, sharing ideas, looking for opportunities wherever, if I'm giving immediately close to home or if I'm giving globally, what does that look like?
Yeah. Tiger 21 is just, I can't say enough of how much I appreciate, and I'm sure a lot of people out there, that there is this group available, this membership, and so happy that we're able to share about more so people can get some information. Hopefully this will inspire others to become involved. And again, I'll make sure that I will connect anyone looking to find out more information. And lastly, is there anything about the allocation or fees that you want to share without going into detail?
Sure. Thank you for that. Tiger 21 is 25 years old. And during that time, through the portfolio defense, we capture anonymously. The members will share their portfolio allocation percentages, not their dollar amount, but their allocation percentages. And we roll that up into an anonymous report. So it's never specific to a member, again, maintaining confidentiality. And it's really interesting. We just published the last 16 years of data, I believe 16 or 19 years of data, on how that asset allocation has changed as a broad representation of how Tiger 21 members are thinking around cash holdings. We've seen cash go as high as 20% and drop down as low as, I believe, 4 or 5%. Allocations, outsized allocations to hedge funds, then hedge funds down to almost nothing. Growth in real estate, growth in private credit, growth in cryptocurrency. For years prior to 2015, 2018, we didn't have any allocation to cryptocurrency, and all of a sudden now you've got 2 or 3% cryptocurrency allocation. So to be able to see that, even though we're not an investment advisory firm or an investment club, to be able to see how your fellow Tiger members are tracking and thinking about asset allocation broadly has been very helpful for our members. And it's we use that to share out kind of how Tigers are thinking about the world. Michael Sonnenfeld will go out on news channels, business news channels, and share broadly how Tigers are thinking about the world through our asset allocation.
Yeah, that's fascinating enough to have me wanting to know more. And I would think that would lead others to want to find out just in Tiger 21, just for that alone. It's
Right.
fascinating information, because that is ever changing, and these are interesting times right now. So I would imagine that allocation is going to, it'll be interesting to see even in the next year or so how that
Very
changes.
much so.
Yeah.
In response to that, I loved what you said. We're all looking for that peak around the corner. What's coming? What's coming? And this collective experience and collective intelligence of Tiger 21 helps us peek around the corner. I call them canaries in the coal mine. How are these things showing up in people's businesses, interest rates, cost of goods, whatever it might be? And that really helps us peek around that corner. And, for now, we look at uncertain times, geopolitical risk, uncertain policy, and yet what is the long-term objectives for the success of our family? And how much of that is really short-term noise that's not really going to impact the long-term objectives for our family? And just keeping that in perspective really helps us navigate these waters and keep us sane during what may be some crazy times.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, that is very helpful, very informative. So appreciate your time, and more to come. So for those out there that would like more information, reach out and I will make those connections. Thank you again, Doug.
Oh, and thank you. This was a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.